Hey,
Ah,
reviews.
back in here, yo.
Watcha! I just got back from watching Ant-Man and the Wasp.
The Wasp.
The Wasp. Bzzz. I'm big. I'm small. Wait, what? What? The first movie was like what? And then he had a bigger role
Much bigger.
as Giant Man.
Giant.
Okay, so obviously Ant-Man is playing a much larger role in the MCU, and hopefully we get some questions answered in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Zzz. Paul Rudd donning his character once again.
Yes.
I personally think he's a pretty good actor. I've seen various different films that he's been in, and I think he does the character justice.
He does.
Especially this version as Scott Lang.
Yeah.
So, where do we start, man? Where do we start? All right, okay. So first of all, let's talk about the tone of this film compared to, oh my gosh, Infinity War.
Well,
right?
yeah, it's a whole different tone.
Much more lighthearted.
Yeah.
Much needed, I would say, in the current tone of the universe, Marvel universe right now. Everyone's kind of a little sad. If you've seen Infinity War, if you haven't,
Please don't go.
exactly. If you haven't, then I won't say too much until we get to the spoiler section. But this one's much more lighthearted, kind of needed, kind of upticks.
Yes.
Kind of a callback, I would say, to more of the comics where it's a little bit more lighthearted. They do a lot of science talk, which obviously is probably not quite realistic, but that's okay. Once again, it is based off of comics.
That's right.
So,
Quantum in front of everything.
Even Scott Lang makes a joke. He's like, do you guys just add quantum in front of everything?
Yeah.
Right? To make it sound more scientific and, special. The other part of this I want to discuss is how do you feel the casting was this time around?
I like the cast. I like the casting for Ant-Man. Even the first time, everyone kind of just fits.
Yeah.
And I like the characters. I mean, even his daughter, works perfectly throughout it.
She's very charismatic.
Yeah, she has charisma. She goes off, and you're like, okay, I don't mind seeing the interaction between him and his daughter because it's fun.
The opening scene between the two of them is awesome.
Yes. So they do a good job with them and showing him wanting to be. It's all about his family, and I guess how the first movie was.
Very believable the chemistry they have on film that they could be daddy-daughter.
Yes, and even the first movie, that's kind of what they did in terms of the chemistry between the two of them, and everything's about his daughter and his family. And he cares about it, and this is one reason why he's a hero. He's just it's his family.
Exactly.
And they kind of keep touching on that.
Over and over.
Yes.
So much so that there's even a comedy bit kind of in there where he's doing things and he's on house arrest and he has to get back before he's found out. Kind of a callback to when things weren't so serious, right? When we weren't worried about being snapped out of existence, or we weren't worried about aliens coming to invade Earth, or an entire continent being obliterated.
I'm not worried about that.
His biggest concern is his house arrest is going to get prolonged.
Yes. He's he's worried about he has to get back.
Or going back to jail for 20 plus years.
The FBI catching him. And basically the dealings what happened and fallout from Civil War.
Exactly. So that's where we're at. This is about 2 years after Civil War is what they say in this film. Again, timelines, of course. We had a discussion about this a little bit ago. Timelines are not 100%, obviously.
Especially in Marvel Universe.
Yes. So roughly 2 years after Civil War, picks right up. They even talk about how he made the decision to, he got the call from Cap and he rushed out to go help. He didn't involve Hank Pym or the Wasp to go with Hope. Her name is Hope in the movie. He didn't involve her and Hank Pym to go with him. Didn't even ask. Yeah. He just basically took the suit and took off.
And it's basically all the fallout.
And this is all, like Ian saying, this is all fallout from that. So where we pick up is we kind of see him with his daughter and family, and obviously he has the anklet for his home arrest, and Hank and Hope are technically fugitives, which this kind of annoyed me, but they're fugitives from the law based off the Sokovia Accord, which there's a kind of a funny moment where they go into
explaining
exactly what happened.
Basically, they're accessories because they have the tech that makes
because he used their tech.
Yes,
which was crazy. So we won't get too much into that because it definitely touches into spoiler territory. You have a new villain in here. We won't talk about all of what you see in the film, but we'll talk about Ghost, who was in the trailers. Her name is Eva, and AKA Ghost. Michael Pena calls her, oh, it's like a super creepy ghost. He's literally the one that gives her the name in the film. He does a really good job once again.
Yes, he does.
Great dialogue between him and everyone else that's on screen.
Yes. His stories are awesome when he goes into story mode.
Story mode, yes. True serum. We'll talk about that later. How would you compare this one to the first one?
This one's pretty much on par. I would say I still think the first one was a little more fun than this one. I still enjoyed this one. This one was like overall, but this one didn't have the same feel as the first one, which the first one was more of a heist movie. And it was just overall, the theme. It was a heist movie. There was a heist involved, and they kind of kept that. Where this one, it was sort of not really a heist movie, but kind of like a getaway movie, but not fully. And it kind of felt like the villain's in there to kind of mess up the getaway. Kind of. Like, that's kind of what I felt like the whole vibe of the movie.
Okay. So for me, I would definitely say there are two different films altogether. One, as Ian was saying, has a little bit of the heist element, but you also have some of the callbacks to actually, in my opinion, the original Iron Man, where there's the other evil genius that doesn't quite know how to do the technology, but is going to steal it anyways and try to use it for war. And then in this one, there's kind of a callback to that again. People want his technology. There's all this crazy stuff happening. There's aliens and everything. Oh, quantum technology? That trumps everything else that everyone else is trying to do. Let's get our hands on this. Yeah. Hence, now you have a villain that's after the technology as well, possibly using the technology also for their own gains already. So that's kind of where this one goes, really.
Yes.
Now, big time. 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star. Ian, what would you give this one?
4.
Ooh, a 4. He has not given out a 4 for a while.
Yes. I mean, it was entertaining. Right. Marvel hasn't really, their ship is still going the right way for pretty much all their movies.
Okay.
And they haven't really missed off since like Iron Man 3. I mean, they haven't really fell off going the wrong direction. So for the most part, they know how to keep it on the focus going.
I'm gonna go ahead and co-sign. I actually liked it a lot. For it being a 2-hour film, almost 2 hours, 2 minutes shy of 2 hours, it honestly didn't feel like 2 hours. There were a few moments, I think, in the film that maybe could have been a little bit better, done a little bit better. However, overall, I didn't really feel like I was sitting for 2 hours. No. It definitely doesn't feel like a 2-hour film, which in my opinion is amazing for the amount of information they give you in this film. There is a good amount of action, but there's a lot of science talk. So that's probably the only time it slows down a little bit, is on that. You're kind of like, okay, blah, 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 quantum realm, shrink, get big, get small, do your thing. So, that probably would have pushed it over for me to the 4.5 realm.
Yeah.
But overall, for, like Ian said, they have a blueprint, they're following it, they're doing a really good job. They're not being haphazard as far as being super careful with plots. They're just throwing all this freaky stuff at you, and you're like, this is awesome.
They do a good job of using, one thing is the ants. And they use the ants throughout the movie in terms of how they're used. Even when the science talk, they're doing stuff, the ants are there.
Yep.
And they're showing how the ants are helping or doing certain things like that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of big, because he's Ant-Man.
Exactly. So it's like I said, it's more of a callback to the comics, where in the comics he's actually using ants on a day-to-day basis to help him do things. So I thought that was really cool that they integrated that more into the film. So 4 star all around. Definitely check it out this weekend. Don't miss it. Ant-Man. Good stuff. Okay, now I know everyone wants to know, does this answer questions from Infinity War? Da-da-da. Oh, well, if you stick around for the spoiler section, which is coming up, that's where we'll tell you. And spoilers in 5, 4, 3.
They killed off Ant-Man, yo. I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Spoilers, not dream killers. No, he doesn't die. He doesn't die. He doesn't die. This guy. Oh my gosh. Bad as Homer Simpson. I can't believe Star Wars. No, I want to do that. I want to do that. So, anyways, so spoilers. So villains in here. You have Ghost.
Yes.
Kind of Lawrence Fishburne. Not really.
Like Goliath, sort of.
Realistically, did you think he was involved?
When he showed up, I was like, oh, he made him a villain. And it was like, he's not really, but it's just kind of, he's still being a good guy because he's helping. It just so happens the person
hates Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Hates him. Mostly because he's a pompous a-hole.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I'm smarter than you. Go somewhere. I don't need your help.
Basically.
Pretty much is his attitude. He's like a younger Tony Stark almost.
Well, I mean...
If you recall the original
Ant-Man, he gets mad because someone tries to use it and he basically punches someone in the face.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then that Stark was kind of like, yeah, you don't want him coming for you when he gets smaller. So.
So even Tony Stark's dad respected him as a scientist and overall kind of threat, basically, right?
Yes.
So. That was interesting. Michelle Pfeiffer being in the film was interesting. I didn't actually know that she was going to play the mom.
I did, but
from the trailer.
They didn't say enough in the trailer, but
okay.
I heard that she was in talks for the movie. And
I try to stay away from too many rumors because I don't want to spoil stuff for myself in the film. But I didn't know she was going to play. Marvel's doing a really good job with this whole CGI younger look.
Yes,
thing.
They're making people
really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Like
Star Wars didn't use that better.
Right. Let them borrow it. Michael Douglas looks pretty good.
Yes.
Michelle Pfeiffer, I don't know. She looked she looked pretty good, but hers was not as good as Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Also, Lawrence Fishburne's was really good as well. He almost looked like Deep Cover. Lawrence Fishburne almost, right? Except for
Well, they probably had more movies to use. Just like, oh, there's the
to render it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Michelle Pfeiffer's been in a
she's
ton of
been
movies.
A bunch too. I just think that they were just like, well, you don't know, like how much is she really gonna age in the quantum realm? I guess.
Yeah,
maybe.
Right. She looks pretty old after when they find her in the quantum realm.
Okay.
So, oh yeah, spoilers. So they do actually end up making it into the quantum realm.
Okay.
I think it's interesting that Eva, aka the villain Ghost, is bombarded by quantum rays, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then she's just like phasing in and out between realms, technically. Yeah. And then somehow Lawrence Fishburne comes along. He's a friend of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they end up weaponizing her. Yeah. Which I'm like, come on, always with the weaponizing.
Well, you think about it. This is Hydra's shield. About the time that, because Hydra's basically infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. So her being weaponized is still part of like that little Hydra shield.
Oh, I see what you're saying. From the Hydra shield that gets Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. So that's the shield that she was dealing with.
Gotcha.
Was the Hydra shield. So that's why she was weaponized.
That makes sense. So that aspect is pretty wild because basically she's been weaponized and she doesn't really have a problem with killing people per se.
Well, I mean that's what they were trained her for.
Yeah, because they use her as an assassin. So her doing that is not really a big deal. What her motive is that she's been told by Goliath, aka Lawrence Fishburne's character, that if she takes his lab and they get the quantum tunnel that he's building, that he can help fix her.
Yes.
Supposedly by siphoning off the quantum radiation that's in Janet, who is the mom
how do you know
of the Wasp.
She has the radiation.
He's guessing because she's been there for 30 plus years, she's absorbed quantum radiation.
But my thing is, couldn't you just do that anyways? Because you already attached to the quantum realm. You probably wouldn't need her.
Probably, but maybe they don't know how to harness the quantum energy from the realm. I don't know.
That was like a weird thing where I said like you could just pull the radiation if it's already around her and it's going to absorb in her. You could just.
I definitely thought there were better ways. I mean, clearly so does Michael Douglas' character. He's like, there's other ways. You don't need to siphon my wife's energy.
Yeah.
And
which they do find out another way.
They do find out another way later on. So that plot point is a little paper thin, so to speak. But even the hero mentions like, hey, that's a bad idea. Like, I don't think you should do that. So it's kind of I don't know. It's almost unnecessary, but also,
It's like the only thing they can think of, and they're desperate. So that's kind of what they're going because they're desperate.
But it's not without merit, right? Like even the hero recognizes, like, hey, that's kind of a bad idea. Like I'm pretty sure there's better ways to do that. Okay. So the big question at the ending credits, does it answer questions to Infinity War? Yes and no.
Not really.
Yes and no.
I mean, you know where he's at.
You want to know where he's at.
You know where he's at.
It answers where he's at.
And that's about it.
And that's why you get your answer. So basically, if you stay to the end credits, what you end up seeing is Hank Pym, Janet, and then Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, and Ant-Man. And they're all getting ready to do this quantum test where he's going to go in with this quantum healing energy.
Yeah, he's going to take
gathering.
Yeah, they like to put the basic quantum radiation, healing radiation, I guess.
Yeah,
to help
I'm not sure
Ghost.
how it only pulls out healing radiation, but
whatever. I guess it's the radiation in general that's going to help Ghost.
But that's what they call it. They call it healing radiation. Yeah. So as he goes in there, he captures it, and there's a little bit of comedy. But then as he's saying, "All right, guys, pull me out," silence.
You hear, and then it just kind of.
And they cut out, and everybody is dust. Everybody is ash, fading away, and Ant-Man is stuck in the quantum realm. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah. So it gives you an idea. Like that's what I said. Yes and no. It gives you answers. Yeah. Yes, it tells you where Ant-Man was during all this. Does it tell you how he comes out? Or if he comes out, will he be able to help them in Avengers 4?
Yes.
We don't really know. Legitimately, it gave us more questions than it gave us answers.
Like, he's in the quantum realm, so now it's like, are they going to... First I thought maybe they're going to use the quantum realm, but now it's like, well, I mean, he's kind of had to come out of it.
Now, in all fairness, the first time he goes into it in Ant-Man, which is self-induced, by the way, he does make his way back out because he hears the voice of his daughter.
Yeah.
But at the very end of the film, they go on to show you that there's no one left alive in his house. His daughter's not there. His wife isn't there.
That's his house.
The only one in there is the aunt.
They don't stay at his house. They have their own house. The daughter's there only on the weekends.
Was it the weekend?
No, because he's probably doing the test. That's why she's probably not there. She's probably with the other family.
But there's nothing else going on. Like there's no traffic or nothing. Because remember they pan back and then they go into his house shortly.
Well, yeah, they pan back. They show his house and they show the emergency broadcast and everything just going. But that is because there's so much chaos around in the world. But they don't show. Because remember, they have a whole different house where they're staying. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking they're still there. Well, they may or may not be there. But you don't know what happens to his daughter and everything else.
They definitely make it look like it's just the ant. And at the very end, they pop up, Ant-Man and the Wasp will return. Question mark fades up.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Who knows? It's exciting times still. Exciting times for sure. Anything else you want to talk about in spoilers? Anything else you want to discuss?
No. I mean, at this point, you just go into theories in terms of what you think Ant-Man's going to do next. And that's an hour-long discussion in terms of...
Oh, big time. That's a whole nother... Yeah. That's a whole nother video. If you want us to have an actual full-on-out discussion on what we think will happen next in Avengers 4, leave the comments down below. Let us know, and we will make that happen for y'all.
Yes.
Once again, much love out to everyone out there, international audience, local audience. Thank you for all the love. Yes. We appreciate you.
Make sure you share it to everybody.
Like and subscribe.
Share it.
To everybody.
Everybody.
And we're out.
Peace.
Peace.